I just realized that I just recently uploaded my 50th video to YouTube. In honor of my 50th video, almost 1 year anniversary on YouTube, my 39th birthday, which is actually tomorrow, I decided that I would do a real quick, real short video about 3 things about me and or my YouTube channel that you might already know, but that I've never talked about. Probably the most important thing that I wanted to share with everybody is the sound that you hear, the audio that you hear on all of my videos. I run it straight into a Tascam 4-track recorder. I mic it up and all that stuff, which you can probably see a lot of that stuff on camera. From there it goes straight into the video. I don't run it through Pro Tools or some other kind of audio recording software. No Pro Tools, no GarageBand, none of that for further editing. What you hear on the videos is pretty much what it sounds like here in the dungeon. And I think that's important because while there's a lot of great people that are doing some great demos on YouTube, I oftentimes have to wonder if the finished product that I'm hearing on their videos, is that what it's going to sound like, when I get it home and play it. That doesn't necessarily mean that what you hear on my videos is what it's going to sound like in your environment either, but most of my gear is pretty modest equipment. I'm not running it through, there's really, for the most part, there's nothing in here that's uber high end that most people cannot buy. And I do that because I like to try to maintain some authenticity to the real life musician that might actually walk into a store or purchase whatever piece of gear it is, or a pretty close representation of what you can expect when you get said piece of gear into your hands. What's with all the sports jerseys? I am a diehard sports fan. I am a diehard Indianapolis Colts fan. I have mentioned that before. I'm also a huge San Jose Sharks fan. I am a very avid golfer, and I watch the PGA Tour pretty religiously. I follow, not quite as closely, but I do follow the NBA a little bit. I really get into it around playoff time. Major League Baseball. I've been a Houston Astros fan ever since I was about 5 years old. I've always been an Astros fan my entire life, and I still follow the majors as closely as I can. I live in a market that is not a Major League Baseball market. So I get my choice of the Cubs, the White Sox, the Reds, and the Cardinals. 3 out of 4 of those teams were in the same division as the Astros, my entire life up until just a couple of years ago. And, we're all pretty big rivals of the Astros, and the 4th team is the one that beat us the only time that we've ever been to the World Series. And not only did they beat us, but they swept us, and I'm still a little bitter about that. So, go Stros, still a huge Astros fan. That's never changed. So anytime you're seeing me wear a Colts jersey, or in this case a Sharks jersey, it's either game day or they just recently won. If you see me wearing a Callaway hat or something, chances are I'm either getting ready to go play golf, or I just came back from, or the PGA is on and I'm pulling for my man Phil Mickelson. That's what all the sports gear is, which doesn't always seem to match up real well in a rock and roll music environment, which is what the absolute rest of this room is themed. But sports have always been a big part of my life. They always will be, hopefully. One question that I've gotten asked a couple of times is, what is the extent of my involvement with Share the Music? And, the truth is, nothing. I'm not an employee. I'm not on the board of directors. I don't make decisions. I don't have anything to do with any of that stuff. I just support them. And I support them with, obviously with every video that I have. That's all that I do. I support them, and I try to help. I help gather up. If somebody has an instrument to donate or something, I try to, if I'm able to, and it makes more sense for me to get my hands on it and then hand deliver it to them. Like I just did last week with a violin. A violin should probably by now or very shortly be in the hands of a of a cancer patient. By the way, that's about the extent of my involvement. So I'm not employed or in any way by Share the Music. I merely support them. When they were choosing a board of directors, I was in consideration to be on the board. I was disqualified pretty quickly due to my my previous career and affiliation with Guitar Center, and quite honestly, that was absolutely the right decision to make. There's no underlying ulterior motives. It's just a great cause that I really believe in with all my heart, and I get behind it with everything I can. One final thing, everything that I've done on YouTube has been fully self-supporting. Any piece of gear that I have demoed is either something that I already own or is something that a friend let me borrow. I have not received any gear from any vendors, any requests from vendors for me to demo their gear. As much as I would certainly love the opportunity, hopefully it'll come my way one of these days. There has been no vendor involvement with anything that I've demoed thus far. So everything, all of my demos are strictly unbiased opinions based on my experience with those pieces of gear. Because this channel is self-supporting, believe it or not, this stuff does cost a lot of money. Producing the video and editing the video, that's, you're talking a lot of camera equipment, video editing software, not to mention the gear itself. None of this stuff, just comes dropping out of the sky, and none of this stuff grows on trees or anything like that. So anything that has had to be purchased in order for me to demo for you, the viewers on YouTube, and hopefully provide valuable information. That's my ultimate goal with all of this. Has all been funded, out of my own pocket. I will probably continue to do so. I think another thing that I may go ahead and do is start a Patreon account in order to hopefully have you, my viewers, see if maybe if I can't generate some additional support like that so that I can continue to do this. I'll be honest, we're tapping the well something fierce here at this point. I do believe that if we're doing all this stuff for the right causes, which I do believe that we are, these things will begin to, they'll take care of themselves. So, in other words, I will be around as long as, as long as I feel that there's a need for me to do so, and hopefully as long as people seem to keep enjoying the content that I'm putting up. So there's a few things about me that you may or may not have already known, a few things that you may or may not already care about. This video is strictly for my own entertainment, but hopefully, maybe to give some people some more insight to what's actually going on here in my tiny little guitar dungeon. Please, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Please share this video with anybody that you might see could benefit from anything that anything on my channel that I've shared, or maybe or will continue to share. And please go check out Share the Music and offer them your support as well.